Megan O'Leary here with Dustin Poirier, who just submitted Max Holloway in the very first round with kind of mounted armbar triangle. What would you call that?
It was a mounted triangle, but I finished the armbar pretty much. So yeah, it would be an armbar from a mounted triangle, I guess.
Is that something you get frequently in practice when you roll with guys?
You know, just these last two fights recent, I haven't really got the chance to show my ground game. But, I'm a purple belt. I've been a purple belt for over a year. I've competed in lots of jiu-jitsu tournaments. I train jiu-jitsu every day, probably, or at least 3 or 4 times a week, gi and no gi. I'm always in the gym training and getting better, so.
Talk to me about the road getting to this fight, because you're originally supposed to fight Eric Koch, and then he fell out. You had another opponent, he fell out, and now this is your third opponent. How frustrating is that for you to deal with?
It was just the stylistic changes of my opponents. Eric Koch's a southpaw, very well-rounded kickboxer. It switched. He got hurt. That was going to be a good fight. Then I got Ricardo Lamas, who was another great fighter, a veteran. I'm a fan of his. I've been watching him for a long time. Got a lot of respect for him, and he's a wrestler. So that was a totally different fight. And then he got hurt, and then I was a kickboxer. A right-handed kickboxer. So it's just stylistically totally different fights. But I said this in another interview. The one thing that stayed the same was me in the gym busting my butt. So that kept me confident.
Is that fight with Eric Koch something you still want to see happen?
Yeah, sure. It's going to happen eventually. We're both young, both have a lot of years left of fighting, and I think our paths will cross. But, hopefully I'm not sure what injury he got, but hopefully he's healing well. And, I'd like to fight maybe Korean Zombie next. I think that would be a fun fight. The fans will love it. We'll both come to put on a show. He just beat Mark Homnick, title contender. So, I think that's next in line. They should be.
We'll make sure we send this to Sean Shelby and Joe Silva, just so they know that that's who you won. But how close do you feel you are to a title shot? Because we just saw Chad Mendes lose to Jose Aldo in Brazil. How close do you feel that you are?
I feel like I'm pretty close, but I don't want to rush it. And I'd like realistically 3 or 4 more fights, but that's probably not going to happen. If I win another 2 fights, another fight, it could happen sooner. But I just turned 23 2 weeks ago. I want to grow as a martial artist and be ready to fight when I fight Jose Aldo. He's a world champion for a reason. I want to be prepared when I step in there to battle him. I want to leave it all in there. I want to fight with my heart, and I want my skills and everything to be there. And I think that's going to take a couple more fights and a little bit more training.
Do you want to take a little time off now that all the chaos is over and you had your opponent, you won, the fight's over? Do you want to take some time off?
Yeah, I want to take some time off, help my buddies get ready for their fights, spend some much due time with my wife, my family. These last 5-6 months I've been training for fights, and I'm serious. When I sign a contract, I'll lock myself away from the normal world, and prepare for a battle. I'm in the gym or I'm home on my couch or, sleeping and getting ready to train again. So I'd like to have fun, put the gi on, go back to the gym, train with my friends and be able to go eat with them after and just have a good time and grow as a martial artist,
Yeah, actually, how was your weight cut for this fight? Because I know a couple previous fights it was a little difficult. How are you adjusting to the featherweight division?
This was the best weight cut I've ever had to drop into 145. Everything was like clockwork. The weight came off, came back. I put it back on real great. I felt good the whole weight cut. Just tweaking it, learning my body. It was only my 4th time at 145, so just fine-tuning the whole thing,
I've got to ask you about this. Every week we see you on MTV's Caged. In the beginning of the show, you're featured in there. What do you think of that show, and how do you feel seeing your face on MTV every week?
That's cool, but there's a couple of guys on that show who are good, good martial artists, but just because we're from Louisiana, we don't train in the backyard with like that and do that kind of stuff, There's schools in Louisiana that are real legit mixed martial arts schools and stuff, and the guy Matt Schnell, I think he's going to do well and make this a career. Those other guys I'm not too sure about, I don't really know them, but I have trained with Matt before, and he's legit, he was a good amateur fighter who trained, and he has a lot of potential.
All right, and finally, from TVs to movies, your movie Fightville. When does it come out? When can everyone at home watch it? Because there's a lot of buzz around it. We saw it, absolutely loved it. When can everyone else see it?
Thanks. I'm not exactly sure the exact dates, but I think March. But they're going to do a theatrical release first. So it's going to be in select cities. And, there's going to be a trailer for it on TV. So if it's coming to the city near you, they'll be showing it. And then Showtime bought it too. but I'm not exactly sure what's going on. But it's going to be soon released, the information, and it's perfect timing. You know, I couldn't have wrote it in, you know, any better story the way it's unfolding right now.
All right, well, a lot of people looking forward to that. Go eat some more chocolate. I know you're starving. Congratulations on the big one.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.